going on, guys? It's Link here, back with another video. This will be the last video before we start the series called How to Pick Your Main. This is going to cover my main, which, spoiler alert, is Ezreal, how I picked him, why I picked him, what I find interesting about him, why I have 100,000 plus masteries on him as a player with a large champion pool. Not a one trick by any means. I have a hard time playing one role for too long, and much less one champion. But in this game, once I get my head out of my butt, I'm going to lock camera on me, and I am TF. Which brings up the topic of this video: how to play mid as a roaming champion. Now, there's Zach. So you know that Goku's in this game, and he will be helping me in this lane because I am against a Zed who is newly buffed and is very strong with his new W speed buff. So, in this game, I look to play as safe as I can. I'm going to start Rod of Ages instead of anything like Ludens or Lichbane. I'm going to max W so I can last hit with my cards, try to get as much money as I can. And then you'll see I have a little bit of a slow start, but then when it starts to really matter is when I'll start to make roams, get a kill here, get a kill there. I get a couple good escapes because I have just enough life to not die in a bad situation. And then after that, everyone kind of comes together and we just take the win. What happens really before we get into any of the exciting stuff, Zed ends up getting a bunch of kills like Zeds do. Maybe one or two off me, I'm not sure. I do make, I don't want to say I misplay, but I definitely could have played it better when I get tower dove a little bit later. So I'm actually excited to watch that again to see if there's anything I could have done better. I mean, there definitely is, but I just want to see what it could have been, really. But as we continue here, I'm just going to be using my Q, which is the little card throw, where he throws them in 3 lines, kind of in the shape of the Illuminati symbol. But I'm only going to use that when I can't get the farm otherwise. Like, it's too far away, or I don't have an auto attack up at the time. Or when I want to throw it into the cannon and not actually get it. So, early on, like I said, I'm just going to be back as far as I can. Zach comes to help me, but there's really nothing to do at the time. I'm going phase rush, so if I do hit my gold card, my Q, and then an auto while the Q flies, phase rush will proc, and I'll be able to move fast enough to stay up with the person I'm chasing to get another gold card off. Another reason is if Zed ults me, I do the same thing. I stun him, Q him, and then hit an auto as I'm running away. That allows me to... Wow. I remember that happening, but I got so lucky that he didn't throw it like where I was at. I don't know. Anyways, that's why I picked phase rush. I really like movement speed on champions. Pretty much anyone I take mid, honestly. Twisted Fate, Orianna, Rise. They all do great with movement speed, whether kiting or chasing. If you think about it, if a Zed ults you and you stun him right away, you're cutting down on his damage potential. But if you're still near one of his shadows when he comes out, he can still get you. So if you hit him enough with your stun, Q, and auto to proc phase rush, you can just run right out of there. And that was my mindset here. Okay, so looking back at that, sorry for the pause, just looking at what I did wrong, I might have been better off staying under my first turret, making the Mundo come to me, but splitting off doesn't seem like that bad of a decision after watching it again. What I did do wrong was not hitting Mundo at all. It would have been really nice for me to have that kill. But before we get into the part of the game where I'm 6 and Zed's 6 and I try to roam where he's not, or match him, or roam faster, I just want to say that besides TF being actually strong for the first time in a while because of his new Q buffs and his W scaling, particularly with blue card, normally I would run Dark Harvest for the one shots with the blue card, but like I said, it's not the greatest game for that because I'm against two like full tanks in Leona and Mundo. Then Udyr has move speeds, he has shields, he has bear stance to run away, he can lifesteal. He's saying like an off tank, not really like a bruiser usually. But if you see here, I messed up there by throwing my gold card way too early, and then Zed does that. Here I'm gonna zone out before I get on my next point. I'm gonna zone out Mundo from the blobs. Zach's gonna re-engage. Pull a blue card just to do damage, and then throw my Q. And luckily for me, the red smite doesn't kill me because they nerfed it and it's not like an ignite anymore. So, now that I'm 6, my goal is going to be to push out my lane as fast as possible, if possible, against a Zed, and then go to the other lane, whether it be bot or top, and gank them with my ult. You can also use it to get Vision of Dragon or Herald to see if the other team's doing it or to see where they are really. You can... Okay, so if you have a Nocturne, he can turn the lights off, you can show up, and all of a sudden you're adding 2 people to whoever was already there for your gank. So, in this game, I'm not really going to be able to outpush the Zed. Not because I can't outpush him, but because I don't want to risk it, since he does have that R button. As you see last time, I threw the blue card at him as he death marks, so it didn't even hit him. You have to wait till after he death marks, or like predict his movement, that he's going to come to the shadow, almost before he thinks he's going to. Otherwise, you're just going to miss your stun. So that puts you in a little bit of vulnerability. But I tank up because they have Vayne, Udyr, and Zed. And I guess to a degree Mundo's E is AD as well. So I get tabbies here. Just because playing smart is more important than playing to the style that you want to play. Like, yes, I want to shove, I want to roam, I want to get dragon control with my jungler, I want to make bot lane unfair for the enemy team, I want to go top and make Udyr regret picking Udyr. I'm not sure if, like, Zach and I try to fight Mundo, what really happens. I believe Zach probably wins if I stay like away from Mundo. He can just kind of beat him by himself with a little bit of stuns from me. But we can go into his jungle. If Udyr was their jungler, we 100% would have this game. I banned Xerath in this game because I was going to play Ryze. But then they picked Zed, and I figured, yikes. Not really sure if I want to pick Ryzen or Zed, so I didn't. So anyways, just a little bit about picking smart and playing your style, but also doing it wisely. So you see I don't get too many rooms off here. This is my first one actually. I roam in to the dragon. We have vision of that guy, but he steals it over the wall because jungler did not have smite, and he pinged that like a million times, as you can see in the chat there, and bot lane just decided that they weren't going to rotate for the Infernal. And actually, that was a rare case where we have more pressure with our tank jungler than they do, because they also picked the tank, but he was not playing well. But we unfortunately still didn't get the dragon. Doesn't really matter. It's not in the cards. GF fun for how we normally play, so it's not that big of a deal, even though it does suck to obviously lose it. Now here, Zach calls Mundo's probably in my jungle, and I go, I'll check, and I go, yes, he is in our jungle. And then he tells me to stick, so I stick. Gets the grab, pulls him into the Raptors, and then he just bounces a lot until commentating a Zach play is it's just like, yes, so he's, yes, blobs, and then he's bouncing, okay, now, okay, that was, alright, big bounce, now he's more bounces, okay, now he's bouncing enemies together. Zed death marks me, I stun him, I Q him, I don't have enough damage, but I do escape through his full combo, barely. And I definitely would have died if I hadn't gone Catalyst and Bramble, or not Bramble, just cloth armor. So, as you can see, even though I'm building to counter the Zed, playing back, and having jungle help, he's still beating me by 40 farm. He's does not have a kill, and he's down an assist. So I am theoretically roaming better, but not by like so much. And a lot of that is inexperience on my part as a mid player in general. Not very good leaning into AP, or not AP, the other one, AD champs, like especially Zed. Talon, slightly more predictable, but same thing really. A lot of the mages I play, besides Lissandra, aren't really tanky. Now if I would have played Lissandra in this game, that would have been very easy. You just stun Zed, you can ult yourself, you can ult him. It's very easy to counter Zed, but I've been really wanting to play TF. He's been getting so many buffs, and I've always liked him as a character. So, I did. Probably not the smartest move in rank, but as you see, I get the TP there, catch the Leona. The Vayne just staying out and farming, so I'm gonna stay here too. My Lux is coming. And you watch this play and just try not to like, so yeah, Vayne literally lives with 10 HP. Lux missed her bind there, but if she didn't, we would have 100% killed. Here comes Mundo. He's like trying to scare us, but we're not really scared of him. So I go to zone him, and for some reason he just runs the whole way away instead of wrapping around like I thought, which is why I like panic back there in like literal worst spot pretty much possible. So made a nice play there, lost out on a kill, way down in farm still, but making up for it on map pressure. And that brings me to my next point. Map pressure in games like this, where your team is already doing really well and you might not be, going to another lane, getting their turret, getting them farther ahead, they can go to your lane, you can put pressure in their lane, and then further push their advantage. Then, while they're down in their lane trying to deal with you, your bot can go mid and push until you're ready to come back. And then everyone can just ARAM bot like they are right now, and I can just go mid and hit the turret. Really, I see you, deer coming, because of a deep ward we had, but not really scared of him because we just saw how much health I did to him in one heal. So just gonna keep farming it out while everyone does their thing bot. Not really sure what's going on. It looks like everyone's just mashing their face into each other. As soon as I see Zed, I run away. I was really scared there, saying, "Oh, I just blew my card. I just blew my card. I just blew my card." And Zed, I guess, didn't see it or didn't feel like killing me, or I don't know honestly what happened. But here's the literal worst TP of all time because they all escape. Yeah, I didn't want to go too deep, so I ended up going not deep enough. Reason I didn't have confidence to do that was because my Zac was actually not here, and now the Zac is here. We make a really nice play here, and it went from being like, oh man, we're all screwed, to like we all blew our damage into there. Like me with my Q, Ashe with her W ult, and then Lux with her combo, and we started winning, so they ran away. I started trying to do the Drake, but my team's more interested with chasing Mundo. So, I don't know. Guess we're not getting the Drake at this time. So, I go back to trying to push mid lane so I can leave mid lane. And thankfully, our bot lane this game was not trolling, so they pushed with me. Go the blue card at the turret to do the extra damage. Another thing, I just want to point out how sick the TF effects are with his E passive, and when you hit like a card, the little like static that goes off, I love it. It's really wonderful. So there's nothing to do with the gameplay, but just a compliment to the Riot skin team, which is one of the best teams at Riot. That's all I'll say in that matter. But this is the point of the game where we're all just kind of roaming around, trying to do what we can. Because I've got my turret, and finally, and our bot has their turret, top, same thing. So we're all just kind of doing the bronze maneuver, roaming around. There, I decided to ult in to try to be cheesy, just because I wanted to kill the Udyr and just be like, ha ha ha, I got you, or something, whatever I was thinking at the time. I don't know. I was making very bad decisions this game. So here, got my Roa, got my tabbies, getting very close to literally. Can't be more than like 1,300 off right now. So now what we're gonna do is just kind of stay with the team until my ult's back, or till I can look for a TP play, which on TF and Shen means you can either TP to the play and then ult back to where your team was, or do it the other way around. In this case, I would TP to the play, do whatever I needed to do, and then ult back to where I needed to be for the fight. So here we're just seizing mid. They're allowing me to just throw cards over the wall, which is fine with me. Don't really want to get too close to the Mundo for obvious reasons. Both because Zed was there and because Mundo is Mundo. But Zed goes for Ash. He hits her twice. Thunderlords, or whatever it's called now in 2020, that electrocute, yeah, even though it's red and electricity's. I don't think electricity's ever been red, but I like red, so I'll go with it, you know what I mean? Here I am, throwing blue card. I throw blue cards way too much, and back in the old days of Trick 2G, actually blue cards used to be like an ironic thing, because, oh, you didn't go in with gold, you blue card salute, you know, like, he would make fun of his friend, I think it was old school GG, who's now like diamond player. So yeah, he's a fizz player though, so you know, there's that. But what happened now, like I said, is the blue card does the most damage out of all the cards because it has the highest scaling and base damage. So I try to throw it a lot just to get the cheeky kills, but I keep forgetting I don't have Dark Harvest. Here, I pull the gold card to stun the Zed. Ash does escape everything but the death mark, but then Goku and I take our revenge anyway. It's really smart of him to keep trying to kill the Ash because I have Tabby's and Roa. Zach and Darius both have a lot of armor, and Zach has Bramble. So the only other person he could try to kill is Lux before she finishes her Zonias, which as you see here, she has Seekers. So she's at least a third of the way to it. I don't know. I guess she doesn't have stopwatch, but who knows. Ash looks like she's going to finish Eye Edge. After that, hopefully she'll build a stopwatch. You know, sometimes you just ult for vision, and that's what that was. I ulted for vision, so, and so I am bronze 1, so that's what that was there with that ult. It wasn't a good ult at all. Same thing with that fight. It was one of those things where you ult to go make a play, but you don't know where to go. So you kind of just ult 2 inches. But I did get vision, and from that vision I was able to determine that we were actually screwed if I kept fighting that. So that's why we ran away. So it was a very valuable ult. There's a lot of value from that ult there. Value. Say that again so I feel less bad. And so their team was kind of flaming their Mundo all game for being bad, but besides his like way too many deaths, he's actually farming really well, and he is still Mundo. So I'm not sure what's going on. He might have been like saying stuff, being toxic, whatever, but gameplay wise, looks like he's doing his job kind of. If I would blame anyone on their team, it would definitely be the Vayne for being like 3 farm a minute at this point. I'm not saying I'm any better because I'm barely above that, but I don't know. Her score is decent, but just no farm. I mean, nobody's farm is really good because this is like bronze to silver. And this is kind of the biggest part of anyone's gameplay who's in this elo to work on. Just constantly, like, what are we doing? We're just all standing here. Like, the dragon just went down, so it's not up. You know, we're just, I don't know, like, honestly, that's what I'm basically saying. Now, luckily for us, our Ash has Bork, so she will be able to kill this Mundo eventually. I just shotgun him in the face with cards because that's gotta be demoralizing. Zed shadows onto the Ash, no, the Lux I mean, and Ash takes him down, so good play there. I do have ult here, Not sure if I'm going to get anything out of it. Throw a red card there for the AoE stun. Or slow, I mean. Try to do damage to the Vayne and the person fleeing, but I get a blue card on the Vayne. Finally pull off the unironic blue card salute. Then I throw auto attacks and kill the guy somehow. And get my second double buffs of the game. Once again, who knows? Here, I'm calling for inhib and run. So, we do that. It's really tragic how you can't throw your Sheen cards at the inhibitor, but I guess it's a special kind of structure. There. This Ashe is making a smart play while she runs away and takes stuff from them. Here I am recalling on not one, but 2 wards. Another part of my gameplay I will point out. Okay. First, I always have yellow. I never switch to red or blue. I gotta start remembering that. So hopefully if people start flaming me in the chat, I mean, in the comments, while I'm doing the streamer thing, it's official. People start flaming me in the comments to actually buy something besides just the regular yellow ward. Just like, get blue, come on, idiot. Or maybe like a sweeper so you can tell that you're standing on 2 boards. Also, when I was recalling there, or not recalling, when I was trying to TP there, I was looking at bot to see if anyone was coming, and not Zed killing me. So I didn't really see that coming, obviously. But it did, and I got exceptionally destroyed. So, yep, that's why I got out of my teleport and died to Deathmark. Note to self, you are an idiot. And here I am back from my, let's say, turbo recall, because that will make me feel less bad than I'm actually just garbage and should not have been terrible. But yeah, we all know that that was actually the worst thing I could have ever done. So we're about to win this game. A review of this is, need to look for roams a lot earlier as TF. Your first teleport with TF, your first knockout, your first Panthol, way it used to be anyways. I think your first one getting a kill gives you like a 60% win rate, but then not doing it is like way less. I think it's less than 40 even when you miss your first gank and don't get a kill. I know for sure on Nocturne it's like that. But there, use my ult just to get to lane to help with the siege. We all stick around. Kill the Zed finally. Have 2 tanks on me to help. I throw the blue card at Udyr to do like a third of his health. At this point, it's just pretty much over, so I'm just doing whatever. Trying to stay away from the Udyr. Now I'm trying to go back onto the Udyr. Flash red card Vayne. 2 autos, 3 autos, 4 autos. Looking for a gold card. He's running away. I stun Leona. Zac pops her up. I Q into her. Trying to stay away from the Mundo. Get a red card. Throw your Q. Anything. I guess he gets smote down by Goku. Blue Q. Hit that. Get the move speed. Zoom in like a Vrooman, which is totally not a saying. And Zed's gonna come out and Salt kill me because he's such a good player. And yeah, this is why you ban Zed instead of Xerath. Even with pretty much building all tanky and starting Azonius, he still one-shots me. Now, obviously I'm not gonna dodge anything. Just led me with the Shadow E, but it is what it is. Roam earlier, roam better, and you'll win a lot more games. Here, I don't roam all too well, but I do get a couple nice kills. couple nice thoughts on the dragon play that we lost and on teleporting into the base here. But with that, links can be out. Thanks for visiting Hyrule, and we'll see you next week for the how to pick your main. Peace.